Welcome into Eye on Northeast Kansas, the podcast where we recap some of the top interviews from our Eye on Northeast Kansas TV show. I'm your host, Melissa Bruner. The show airs Monday through Friday, 4 o'clock Central Time from our WIBW TV studios in Topeka, Kansas. We had a lot of fun events to talk about this week, and I had a very special fun event that I was able to attend and take part in. It was an appearance by a musical icon, the one and only Dolly Parton. I'll share a little bit of that and recap our exclusive conversations a little bit later in the podcast today. But let's start with Shawnee County Commissioner Kevin Cook. So a lot of people were reaching out to us this week upset because they got those initial property tax notifications. It was a statement. It has to do with our revenue neutral rate law, and it kind of showed what your tax was that you paid from the mill levy last year based on your valuation last year, and then if things would change and how they would change, what you could potentially pay this year. So a lot of people were worked up. Bottom line, a lot of these budget issues are still in discussions and ongoing. And that's why Commissioner Cook wants everyone to know that they should make their voice heard in the budget process. He visited the Red Couch to tell us a bit about where Shawnee County commissioners are at. Thank you so much for being here, Commissioner.
Good afternoon.
There were several. There's a whole list of decisions that were made yesterday. Among them, and I want you to explain kind of what happened here. When Commissioner Rippon was here a few weeks ago, he talked about how maybe one of the areas you could cut the budget is in some of those open positions. And that seems like one thing that happened yesterday. Department of Corrections saw some money cut, and the Corrections Director says those are positions that have been open for quite some time. And you still have health and safety as the priority in the number of positions you're keeping on there. Is that kind of the process you're looking at as you go through these things?
It is. So before I forget, I want to start with August the 21st, 5:30 p.m. at 707 Quincy, the County Commission chambers. The public is invited to add input and discussion for the 2024 budget. So if you have an influence, if you have an interest, if you want to discuss where we are at in our process of establishing the budget, establishing the mill levy, you are welcome to be there. We would welcome you to be there. Now, you don't have to be there. You can email us, you can call us, you can write us, whatever other means you want. But we want to have input from the public. Now, next Thursday, I think that we will be very close to finalizing that preliminary budget. And I want to stress, it's preliminary. It's not final until after we have a public hearing. But what we want to do is we want to have a budget that we can show to the public. One of the things that we have been doing, as you said, is going through what are the positions that have been open for some time that we've had a lot of trouble filling, or do we need those positions? Are those positions that we can close out? We want to make sure that our inmates are secure. We want to make sure our staff is safe. We want to make sure that we are protecting the interests of the public. So we just don't want to close out positions just for the sake of closing out positions because they're hard to fill. We want to make sure we have the Department of Corrections adequately, safely staffed. We've been recruiting heavily in Department of Corrections. We're still looking for employees. If you're looking for a job, apply. But all the departments are doing that. The health department has also been looking at what they're at and looking at what programs they're doing, what programs should continue. Do we need all of the programs that we have currently? With the changes after COVID, that's changed a lot of what the health department does.
And so you're going to be looking at them next week, is that correct?
That's correct.
And the sheriff's office, I think you said, is next week as well in the update that we received. Where are we at in the mill levy at this point? Is it looking like it's going to go up, down, stay the same?
At this point, we are at a decrease. So you are looking at a decrease in the mill levy. Now, I want to stress, this is the important part,
valuation.
Even though there may be a decrease in the mill levy, if your valuation went up, you may still see an increase in what you paid in taxes. And that's where we as Shawnee County are very much aware of that, and we're looking to see what can we do to reduce that. We want to reduce that tax burden on the people in Shawnee County.
At the same time, there are discussions about areas that you'd like to improve. I know you specifically have been talking about mental health for a very long time. How do we get money to do some of those extras, implement some of those programs? If it's not there, where does it come from?
So one of the things that we have is we have the Shawnee County reserves. Reserves are monies that are left over, or extra, there's your savings account. Speaking of it in that way. So we have a policy that says we want to be between 20 and 25% of our average budget, overall annual budget, and we're between that spot, then we might be able to look to do something, but a minimum of 20%. Now, right now, we are really at that threshold of the 25. And one of the things that I looked at and have proposed is if we were to take $6 million, that will still keep us above the 20% minimum threshold. Take that money, move that money to the Topeka Community Foundation as a central place where it's interest bearing, where it's going to be generating income, but it's also a place where the city of Topeka can bring money into, private entities, organizations, nonprofits would be able to bring into. Form a coalition, all hands on deck. The sheriff, the chief of police, the municipal court, the district attorney, the district court, the city, the Topeka, mental health. We need to address the issues of homelessness, the unsheltered, mental health, drug and alcohol. These are things that are critical, and I think that we are hitting that critical threshold. If we don't do something now, we're at a spot of either do something or suffer the consequences.
Do you see all three of those issues interrelated, where this pot of money could be used for any of those? You know, the drug issues with fentanyl could be related to mental health. The homelessness issues could be related to mental health.
I really do. And you hit on it right on the spot. The fentanyl has really gone and pervasive, even down to marijuana. And a lot of times we think about marijuana, is it really that bad? But if the fentanyl is mixed in, it can be fatal. And we're seeing the overdoses. We're seeing that people are really deeply affected, more so than I've really ever seen in the past. And it's really a stranglehold, not just in our community. Our community is not unique. This is across our entire country. But we need to do something in our community.
A little extra from Commissioner Cook on why he feels county leaders and local leaders can and should find more money and more ways to address mental health issues. The Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library has a big celebration planned, a whole week of events for what they call their red carpet services. They turned 50 years old, and Diana Friend from the library visited to explain a bit more about what those services are and just how the idea came about.
Yes, the red couch, red carpet services. But what you have to think about, the library has been in Topeka for over 150 years. So a third of that time, we have been reaching out to the citizens that can no longer come to a physical library. And this is one of those things that demonstrates how volunteers can influence and actually recognize what the need in the community is. So it was started by the Friends of the Library volunteers, gathering together with the staff of saying, hey, we need to go visit people that are in nursing homes, and we have homebound people so they can still stay connected with the library.
Awesome.
So that blew up into this huge thing, and as the years went by, we started out with about 4,000 customers, and then we had 40,000 and different things when you count up the number of people that were living in congregate living and assisted living facilities, homebound.
The whole thing's called Red Carpet Services.
Yes.
What sorts of things do the Red Carpet Services provide?
Well, number one, every 2 weeks we visit about 50 assisted living facilities. We also have a group of homebound individuals, which they subscribe to that service because it's usually because of a medical need, delivering books, movies, music, games, companionship, because if you have a red carpet librarian, it's like having the best resource for everything the library has out there. They get to know the customers, they visit with them about that, and they decided when we were going to celebrate the anniversary that we were going to give an opportunity for you or anyone else that maybe is a caregiver of their parents or family members or things like that to actually know what that is involved. So
yeah, run through. You got a whole week next week. What are the activities?
Starting next Monday, you're going to actually be able to come to the library in the sunroom, which is part of Claire's courtyard. You'll see it because we have lots of feather flags out there and everything, and have a simulated red carpet experience. And then the next day we have trivia. And see, this is the important thing, because if you know a senior and you like trivia and you're on a trivia team, you want them on that team, because usually those questions go from present day to historic dates on that. So you're going to get to play a little trivia there. And then on Wednesday, we're going to do a site hop. So we go, okay, what does that look like when they walk into one of our assisted living places? So we're going to be able to talk you through that. So if, like I said, if you're interested for a family member, or maybe you're thinking that
maybe one day you might need it.
Maybe you might do that. We also, it's the other thing that the working elders that we have in our community of of just the awareness of what's going on. Red carpet people can tell you about the resources that are available here. If you need large print, if you need adaptive equipment, hearing, vision, all of those different things. If you need the talking books, we can help you get subscribed to that.
Yeah, and as we put up the full schedule for the week, we know that then Thursday you're going to have a carnival, and Friday you're going to have a celebration reception. I put the start times up there. Each of these runs about 2 hours.
Right.
Are all of these free? And then most importantly, if you're interested in signing up for red carpet services, how do you do that?
You know what? Everything at the library is free.
We like that.
But Friday will be a celebration. We want to see those volunteers that came in, former employees that used to provide this service, because they have made lifelong friends with a lot of these people, and just come in and learn a little bit more. We're going to treat you like you are on the red carpet when you come in on Friday.
Just like the name.
Yes.
Well, we will put a link to all of the information so you have full details of those celebration events on our website, WIBW.com, so you can find out what is all happening next week to celebrate 50 years of red carpet services. Always something great happening at our Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. Another great local event that WIBW TV has been proud to support for many years is the Speedy PD Race for Parkinson's disease. The 5K and 10K event supports the Parkinson's programs at Meadowlark Hills in Manhattan. We had Michelle Haub from Meadowlark Hills, as well as Kalina Woods from Community First National Bank, one of the run sponsors, come in to give us a first look ahead to what we can expect. Welcome, ladies. Appreciate you being here. And this is a big event. Michelle, tell us what the Speedy PD Race is.
Well, this is our 15th annual event, and the purpose of this event is to help people, as you mentioned, in the greater Manhattan community and beyond, to understand what living well with Parkinson's looks like. So a lot of our individuals that have Parkinson's are out there and they're participating in either the half mile or the 5K. And then they're also singing the national anthem at the beginning of the race, which is probably the most inspiring and powerful thing that happens the whole day through.
Awesome. And what kinds of things does the race, the money that is raised, support?
Yes, so the money that's raised helps the Meadowlark Parkinson's Foundation. Sorry, let me start over. The Meadowlark Parkinson's program, which is part of the foundation, to do all of the free programming that we provide. So that ranges from exercise classes, boxing classes, voice classes, care partner support group meetings, education, you name it. And we do all of those things free of charge.
Awesome. And it takes a lot of community partners to make it happen. And you brought your poster, which has some of them on it, and that is where you come in, Kalina. What has the bank been doing to support the Speedy PD?
So we've been part of this program since the beginning. We absolutely love the organization, love being part of it. If you haven't been to the event, you don't want to miss it. It's very inspirational, really great. We not only help financially, but we also volunteer and take a big part in the event.
Why is this such a great thing for you all to take part in? Why do you do it?
We love to support the community in the area.
I imagine too. Do some of your folks personally know someone? Or
absolutely. We have several people that have been affected personally. Great way to help.
Yeah. How does that personal connection, Michelle, come back and do you think contribute to really what a staple this has become in the community?
I think it's all about the personal connection. You know, when you live with a disease that tries to rob you of everything, being in a community where we support and we build up and we inspire them. We don't inspire, but we encourage them to inspire others. And they do that. They cheer each other on, and our staff, you know, cheers everyone on. And it's just a big family. It really is. I know sometimes that phrase can be overused, but it really is. And throughout the years, watching people come together at the race, you know, several of the families that participate are having family reunions that they plan around our event. And so it really is a special time for everybody.
I know our dear friend Rob Peppers has been involved with Speedy PD for many years. If he's home or watching online, hello Rob, we love you very much. The Speedy PD Race, give us the details. When is it? How do we sign up and take part?
Absolutely. Come out on Saturday, August the 26th. The race starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can register right up until that time. And the 5K and the 10K will start right after that event.
And the Tuttle Creek State Park River Pond area, and I know you've made you don't climb that huge hill anymore.
No.
It's a lot flatter if you're opting for the 10K challenge, and very flat on the 5K, which is always good news. Meadowlark.org, click on Speedy PD under Giving. Michelle, Carolina, thank you so very much. We appreciate you both being here.
Thank you.
It was a great, great time. Speaking of a great time, I had a great time this week. Monday, the one and only Dolly Parton visited Kansas to to celebrate our state's statewide expansion of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library program. That program started in honor of her father. She said he couldn't read or write, and so that always bothered him, so it bothered her, and she wanted to help all children be able to read throughout their lifetime. So that's how the Imagination Library got started. More than 200 million books have been given away worldwide. Kansas actually had the first Imagination Library program outside of Dolly's home state of Tennessee. So we were very proud about that and very proud to host Ms. Dolly. And it was really cool because I was offered the chance to have the exclusive one-on-one conversation with her before the public event. And it was an invitation-only event. So using the term public loosely there, because she took the stage before an audience of about 450 people. I got to sit down with her for about 10 minutes. We were not allowed to record the conversation. They did request that, but we could take some photos, so you can see those on my Facebook page, WIBW Melissa Bruner. Our colleague Phil Anderson also has a great photo gallery on our website, WIBW.com. But during our conversation, she talked about how she loved reading growing up, and she truly believes that if you can teach a child to read, they can self-educate throughout their lifetime, because you can find a book on just about anything. On the fun side of things, I asked her about her rock album that's coming up. She said that, of course, she loves country music, has loved the country music family, but then they went and inducted her into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as a lot of people heard. And so she had always wanted to and thought about making a rock album, and she said, well, I'm in the Hall of Fame, so it was simply a matter of timing. The timing seemed right to finally do it, and she laughed as she told me, 77 years old, she's going to be a rock star. So she has an album coming out with a lot of classic artists. Paul McCartney is on there. Steven Tyler is on there with her. But she also has some younger, the new generation. There are collaborations with Lizzo and with Miley Cyrus. And I asked, the younger folks would say they're learning from her because she is Dolly after all. So I asked what she maybe learned from them. And she said she learned a lot about phrasing, because she said country music phrasing, you just kind of sing from the heart. It is what it is. But when you have rock musicians, they kind of have a certain way that they emphasize things and phrase things and put things together. And so she said it was really a learning experience and a lot of fun for her to be collaborating with some of those folks from the younger musical generation. As far as her philanthropic efforts, she said that she's going to continue to support the Imagination Library and also support some causes in her home area of Eastern Tennessee, because she believes charity begins at home. So a fantastic conversation with Dolly Parton. Everybody laughed when they came back and said, how was it? I said, I got a hug, and it just felt so magical, because there's just this presence about Dolly Parton. She really is as nice as you would imagine. I couldn't record that conversation, but chief photojournalist Doug Brown and Phil Anderson and I all were in that invitation-only audience where she wrapped things up by sharing a couple songs.
Back through the years, I go wandering once again, back to the seasons of my youth, and I recall a box of rags someone gave us, and how my mama put the rags to use. There were rags of many colors, but every piece was small. I didn't have a coat, and it was way down in the fall. Mama sewed the rags together, so in every piece with love she made my coat of many colors that I was so proud of.
My mama was a great person, and of course Mama, she had to make and remake all of our clothes. And
many colors that my mama made for me, made only from rags, but I wore it so proudly.
And I'm going to dedicate this to all the good mamas out there.
So with patches on my breeches, holes in both my shoes, in my coat of many colors, I hurried off to school, just to find the others laughing and making fun of me in my coat of many colors Mama made for me.
But I always think about that little coat, because I had carried that hurt inside me for a long time. Didn't even realize it until one day I started writing that song.
Stitch even told him all the story Mama told me while she sewed, and why my coat of many colors was worth more than all their clothes.
It was really fulfilling to me to know that I got that hurt out of me, and I've had so many people through the years talk about how that little song has changed their life in one way or another. You've been made fun of about one thing or another.
Money, but I was rich as I could be in my coat of many colors. Mama made for me, 'cause she made it just for me.
Well, it's not a good feeling when somebody makes fun of you for any reason. So I'm glad that that little song has had a healing effect on a lot of people, especially me.
I have chased after rainbows, I've captured one or two.
And of course, I had the best mom and daddy in the world, and we're very country people. We lived way back in the Great Smoky Mountains, and my dad didn't get a chance to go to school, and he couldn't read and write, but he was so smart, and that seemed to trouble him a lot. So it troubled me that my daddy was troubled.
Always been a dreamer, and dreams are special things. But dreams are of no value if they're not equipped with wings.
And so I just got the big idea one year. I thought, I'm going to start a program, and I'm going to get my daddy involved in it. And that's how the Imagination Library came to be.
So try to be the first one up the mountain, the highest flying dreamer in the sky.
And I had my daddy do all the stuff with me, and I was just saying, Daddy, you don't need to be ashamed, because there's millions of people around the world that can't read and write. Trust me.
For others that are still afraid and shy, and try to make the most of every moment.
And so I made him feel better about himself. He made me feel better because Daddy was smart, and he would guide me and direct me in certain ways because he had a good business mind. And so Daddy got to live long enough to see the Imagination Library doing really good. And I'm always thinking my daddy's looking down and saying, you go, honey, you go.
You know, nothing is impossible if you can just believe. Don't live your life.
I wake up with new dreams every day and new thoughts every day, and I'll just continue dreaming, and hopefully I'll be able to continue to do more things to help more people.
And if you fail at first, just keep on trying. 'Cause you are not a failure in God's eyes. So spread your wings and let the magic happen. 'Cause you'll never really know if you don't try. And the first step is the one that's always hardest. But you'll never really know if you don't try. You have to try.
Thank you so much. And God bless you, and thanks for helping out with our program. And I hope to see you again sometime soon. God bless you.
I mean, doesn't she sound fantastic? It was such a treat to be able to hear that in person, and I'm honored to be able to share a little bit of that with you. Her folks said, we asked, are there any restrictions on sharing that performance? They said, no, go right ahead. And so that's why we're sharing it today on the podcast. By the way, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library offers those free books from birth through age 5. They get mailed right to the house. They have the child's name on them, so your kids can run to the mailbox, get their very own book in the mail. The state of Kansas, again, it's a statewide program in the Topeka area. area, you just go through the United Way of Kaw Valley and the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library and sign up. Just search it. You can find an affiliate near you, hopefully, and get those books for your family. Glad you could be with us this week on our Eye on Northeast Kansas podcast. Remember, if you'd like to see the video from these segments or any of the other segments throughout the week, you can find them on WIBW.com. I post them on my WIBW Melissa Bruner Facebook page, and you can also find a dedicated playlist that has all of our Eye on Northeast Kansas segments on our WIBW 13 News YouTube channel. Be sure to click subscribe while you're there. Thanks for being with us this week. We'll see you soon on the Red Couch.